sir. Good to see you. I was just gonna ask about Don Carey, and just the conversation when you tell him that, hey, you think coming off the bench might work well for him. Obviously the minutes are similar, but some that could affect some guys. How has he just handled that?
Yeah, I think he's handled it like the type of kid he is, Emily. He's mature. He's been around. He knows he's not shooting the ball great right now. So I think for him, he knows I'm doing it for him. I'm really not, it's not a team thing. It's more trying to get him going. So it's not a demotion. It's not anything like that. I'm just trying to maybe just get him in different situations, maybe give him a chance to see what's going on the first 3 or 4 minutes in the game, but he's still playing the exact same minutes. So I think that the fact that the minutes haven't changed doesn't really matter. And I started him in the second half of the game. So he kind of knows I'm trying to help him as much as possible.
And then I was just gonna ask, I mean, with having a somewhat undersized team, what becomes more important in terms of compensating for the kind of that deficiency there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us, and we had a really good film session on when do we play? Thursday?
On Friday.
On Friday. Thanks, John. We had a really good film session on Friday, and in our losses, we have 45 assists and 75 turnovers. And for an undersized team to be giving the ball away as much as we're giving it away, we're doing a lot of self-induced wounds. And I think what we talked about more and really watched all our turnovers was just kind of making sure we just take a little bit better chance of the ball and at least getting a shot up, because our defense is still pretty darn good. We just can't hurt ourselves. And when you're small and when you're small at every position, you just can't be giving free possessions away. And that's kind of what we're doing right now, Emily.
All right, Ryan.
Hey, Coach. Kind of a big picture question. I always wanted to ask, this is your third time taking over a program. So how has the time you took over at Iona, when you did it at Seton Hall in Maryland, how are they similar or different from one another?
They're all pretty much similar, to be honest with you. Iona, I think they won one game before I took over. The year before, Seton Hall was unfortunate. That was really a debacle for 5 years. And unfortunately, obviously Mark did a great job, but just the way last year transpired, really, really kind of was a bad year from a roster standpoint and just continuity. So they're all been pretty much similar, where they've been pretty big rebuilding jobs, where you haven't walked in and they've won 25 games and you're left 4 starters and you just have to maybe find 1 or 2 guys. It's been something that we got to go in and make sure that we do it. And I think that's why I'm so excited about these guys. And I've had so much fun coaching these guys, is because I think this team more than anything has laid down the foundation and culture probably better than any team I've had. But they've all been pretty similar, where I've walked in and it's, I hate to use the word total rebuild, but it's pretty much a total rebuild.
And to follow on that, just what about the players, maybe from a character standpoint or anything, that represents the type of foundation you're trying to build?
Yeah, I mean, this group has, from day one, they have worked extremely hard. They've had a great attitude. Every recruit that's walked in, Deshaun, Jamie, and John all said it, how much they loved how we worked, the enthusiasm we worked with, how much fun the players had working, the way we were playing. And I think, that was the biggest thing when I got here, was I just wanted to make sure that, year one, I still like this team. I still think we're going to win a lot of games, but making sure that year one, no matter what, sets us up for year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Because if you don't get year one right, year 2 becomes a disaster, and then year 3 becomes but these guys have done an unbelievable job of laying down the foundation. And it's been, we just practiced for 2 hours, and I know we've lost 3 in a row, but man, I love this basketball team. I love their attitude.
Ross.
Hey, coach, you sort of brought up assists and turnovers already, but when you analyze your team's performance, how much do you take stock into assist to turnover ratio?
Oh man, yeah, it's a big one. You know, I mean, the good thing about the other night, we had 2 30-second shot clock violations. Those are 2 of our turnovers. So, and they can't score. Our defense is good enough that when we're not turning it over and giving guys layups, that they're not scoring on us. So we see it. I think that's something that, again, you know, this year I've given everyone a chance to kind of produce, touch the ball in a lot of different places. It's hurt us at times, but at the same time, I think it's helped some of these guys. It hurts us at times. I just think, you know, a lot of our turnovers are just kind of, I hate to say nervous, but, you know, just kind of not playing under control, trying to make a little bit quick passes. And we talked a lot about that yesterday, but, you know, you can't have 45 assists and 75 turnovers in 5 games and think you're going to win a game. We have to improve on that. And that's something that, you know, offensively we're working on yesterday and today and going forward. We're kind of, you know, kind of messing with the offense a little bit to maybe just cut those down just a little bit.
And Jahari is one of the best on your team in that metric. Is he someone you're trying to figure out a lineup in different ways?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest. Sorry, I'm watching UConn Creighton and Danny's going nuts. I think. What was the question?
How much does Jahari Long was one of the best?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, Jahari's been great. One of the hardest things we've had trouble with is trying to, you know, Jameer's been phenomenal all year. He has. I know his numbers at times haven't been great, but that young man has been off the charts. Trying to get them to play together. We haven't had a whole lot of time to practice because we don't have another guard in the program that can really help that second team run the offense. So it's difficult to practice them together because if I practice them together, then the other unit's probably really not getting anything good out of it. So we did work with them a little bit today together. It's just, I don't know how much they're tomorrow, if they'll play together, but I think moving forward, it's something we're definitely looking at. Plus to help Jameer maybe get off the ball a little bit, let him get an open shot, let Jameer come off a down screen. But yeah, Jahari's played really, really well for coming off an injury last year.
Thanks, coach.
All right, Emmett.
Hey, coach. You've spoken a lot very highly of Dante Scott and the potential that you think he has, but you struggled a little bit the last couple games, at least on the offensive end. What do you think has to change in his game to kind of get back to that success he was having early in the season?
Yeah, I think, you know, what Dante's going through right now is what every great player goes through. Is Dante's now become our leading scorer and one guy that we run our offense through a whole lot now. It's never happened to Dante before. And so now Dante, when people pick up the scouting report, it goes Jameer Young, Dante Scott. And before it went Fats, Ayala, you know, probably one of the bigs from last year. And then maybe Dante was, maybe Hawk looking at numbers last year, maybe Hawk was before Dante. So Dante was never really a game plan for. Now he's getting game plan for, and it's a matter of him getting adjusted to that game, being that number one target, learning how to beat defenses, burn defenses. I think the last 3 games, he's just forced a whole lot of stuff. He's a great passer. I just think he's got to let the game come to him a little bit. And I think this is all new to him. And I always say that to people. It's like, you know, when you haven't been the main guy and you jump into being the main guy, it takes some time to get adjusted to. I had Sandro was the same way. Sandro was a 3rd and 4th guy for us. And then his senior year, he's touching the ball, he's shooting the ball 22 times, and they really struggled at the beginning of Big East play. And by the time the end of the Big East play, he was player of the year. So I got a lot of confidence in Dante. It's just everyone's got to be a little patient, just let him kind of work through it and let him work through mistakes. I got tremendous confidence in him.
Emily.
Yeah, just a quick one. Is there any benefit to having an assistant who was on the staff of the, and I know Ohio State looks a good bit different this year, but is the game planning at all
I don't know.
easier?
I think it must have been in Tony's contract that he's not allowed to talk about Ohio State. No, I mean, the good thing, it's weird that they're playing totally different than they played last year. I think Chris is letting the young guys play. And I think that I think they're a little bit different just because their personnel is a little bit different. But, obviously Zed, if he does play, which I think he is, because anybody that dislocates his shoulder and then tries to foul Big Zach after dislocating his shoulder is a pretty tough dude in my book. So, no, I mean, Tony knows a little bit, but I think Tony's being the most professional. It's just, you got to be professional in this business.
And what have you seen from the sensible freshman?
Oh man, there's a couple of good things about some of the freshmen in this league that they won't be around next year. I think what's really impressive is a lot of freshmen take tough shots. Bryce takes them and makes them, and he makes them at a clip I'm talking about. They put him on the right block. He jabs, he goes middle, and he shoots a little fall away 14-footer. He probably does it 6 times a game, and he makes 4 of them, where the average freshman would make 1 of them. He gets out in the break, and I think the biggest thing, he's shooting 45% from 3 as a freshman. I mean, the kid he's a high level player, and he's also a high level pro. I have no problem saying that because I've seen a couple now. Him and Jet Howard are really impressive. I think those guys are going to be battling for, not only in